I am Paul Salvatori, and this is The Dark Room. Covering this year's Northern Ink Exposure, one of North America's largest tattoo conventions, for a local news publication, I met Scoot Mason, a former vehicle airbrusher from Peterborough turned tattoo artist. He has won numerous awards for his mastery of dermal ink, yet as easy to talk to as a good friend. At the convention, I was immediately impressed by his work, especially an elaborate reimagining of Venice, Italy's Bridge of Sighs. Dark and mysterious, it is among one of the most memorable tattoos I have seen. Wanting to know more about the artist behind it, I was invited to talk to Scoot in the calmer setting of his Toronto studio. While inking a rather distinguished face on the arm of an unflinching client, I opened our conversation by asking, what makes a good tattoo artist?
You need to be, first of all, you need to be a people person, even though most of us are. A lot of tattoo artists are just kind of angry at the world. But you definitely have to be a people person, just dealing with so many people's different ideas and whatnot. You have to be patient, and you gotta be able to put in the work, man. It's a journey. There's so many people right now that are trying to become tattoo artists because they think it's a fad, you know, like they see it everywhere, so they want to be a part of it, and they think there's the easy way. They want to rush themselves to learn, but becoming a tattoo artist is a commitment, man. And if you want to be a good tattoo artist, you gotta be ready to put in a bunch of work, a lot of time, and just so much sacrifices had to be made for you to become this, you know. Now, it doesn't happen overnight.
Sharing that he is a self-taught artist, I could only wonder the sorts of sacrifices Scoot himself had to make to become the accomplished person he is today. Not even being turned away from would-be mentors discouraged him. He reminded me that resilience, not just talent, separates those who make it, so to speak, from those who do not.
When I started, I just walked into my buddy's house. He had a machine, and I picked it up and started tapping my buddy. The first tattoo I ever did was a cover-up on my buddy's leg, and then I loved it. And then from there on in, I ordered the thing off the internet, and I kind of learned trial and error, which I really wish I could have gotten an apprenticeship. But I was from a small town, and all the artists in my town knew that I airbrushed cars, and they kind of didn't want nothing to do with me. They get really competitive in that small town mind state, you know, they don't want to teach anyone or this and that. But so I just learned on my own. I never really took an apprenticeship, which I wish I did. It would have sped up the process, but instead I just put in the time and learned myself.
Like other great artists, Scoot has his own fears about the process of creativity. But the one he identifies as his biggest is actually good to have. For, as we will hear, comfort can be the enemy to innovation. Scoot illuminates the importance of continually testing ourselves and obtaining honest feedback to be the best artist possible.
There's just so much to learn, man. I always told myself, if I start getting comfortable, like I see a lot of my friends that are artists that get comfortable and their work stays the same. And the day I start getting comfortable, man, I'm gonna have to quit. I don't want to be comfortable, man. Probably one of my biggest fears. Yeah, staying comfortable, not a good thing for me, man. In anything. A buddy of mine was big into tattoos, and I used to call him every night and say, yo, bro, you gotta go look at this, piece I just did. I'd call my brother, my friends, everyone, and it's hard because it's all your friends and stuff, so everyone's gonna give you good feedback, right? But now I look back and some of the stuff I was doing when I started, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be the best in the world. This is crazy. I look at it now, I'm like, shit, man. I can't believe my buddy has to wear that, you know? It's crazy. But just trial and error, man. Just kept pushing myself, and every about 3 months, I try to go over all the work I've done in the last 3 months, and I try to just look over and see what I can do better and how I can make my work better. So So I'm constantly trying to get better, you know?
The integrity of Scoot is revealed when he describes what kind of tattooing he will not, most times, do. Lettering. He is in some ways like graffiti artists I have followed over the years who, though capable, refuse to compromise self-expression when hired to produce murals. They do not sell out.
I would never take on a new client to do some script. But if I built a relationship with my client, for sure, you know, I can bend the rules and do a little script for them, no problem. But I wouldn't take on a new client to do some script. Yeah, like, I get messages, emails all the time. Oh, I seen your work. I'm in love with your work. You know, I want my kids' names on my arm. Like, motherfucker, you just looked at all my work, then why didn't you just see that I don't do that shit?
That's right.
You know, but they just want tatted by me because they like my work, but they don't realize that I'm not into that stuff. So I don't want to be tatted, like I said, for money, you know? I want to tat because I love this, man. I do it 7 days a week for a reason, you know? I don't want to be forced to do something, and sometimes it's hard to tell your clients no, you know?
For Scoot, tattooing is not just a service. It is a highly personal act by which he offers a piece of his soul. This intrigues me, as it situates tattooing in the sacred. When Scoot inks, he is devoting his heart, manifested on the client's skin.
I get that, so if something means that much to you, then I don't want to half-ass it, you know what I mean? And some people have a hard time getting their head around that, but that's the way it is. I kind of stopped. A lot of time in the shop, you don't got to say, you know, you're working in someone else's shop, it's just go, go, go. You got to do what's booked, you know?
Absolutely, yeah.
And like sometimes, you know, I could go in and I didn't know what I was doing, but I'm doing a rose. I don't want to feel like doing a rose that day. Then now I'm tatting and I'm kind of not into it. And I don't want to do that to any client, you know? If I'm giving my client a piece, I want to like it and I want to get into that piece so I can get the best work I can possibly can for them, you know? And I'm spending 6-8 hours a day on one piece. You know, if you want me to work 8 hours and do something like, you know, tattooing looks like, you know, oh, that's cool. He just sits in the chair. That's all he does all day. Sits there and draws a picture. That's easy. But man, the amount of focus you take out of your body just trying to focus, make sure you're doing everything right, constantly measuring, like, it takes a lot out of you to be focused like this and do a beautiful piece.
Not only that, but to have a piece of that beauty requires more than money. It means pain, too.
Shit hurts. You gotta earn it, man. If it didn't hurt, everyone would have them.
Leaving Scoot's studio, I wonder what I could one day have inked on me, announcing my identity to the world. Scoot's uncommon talent should be manifested that way, rather than as decor alone. Though from different worlds, I share Scoot's respect, perhaps reverence, for the tattoo as beyond skin deep.